Hi everyone, welcome to the slot 3 QA video solutions from iQuanta. I'm Amit Panchmatia and I'll be going through slot 3 with you. So as usual, when we'll go through the solutions, we'll also talk about whether the question was doable, was it easy, was it difficult, what were the things, how should one have selected the question, not selected the question, and so on. So when I look at the first question, the important things for me, they've told us x, y, z are natural numbers, which makes life a little bit easy. And they've asked for the value of x plus y plus z, theta question. Should I have looked at the exam and said, was this a level A? Yes, it was a little bit lengthy, but it wasn't definitely difficult. So maybe some of you all kept it at B only because it was slightly lengthy. Otherwise, if you look at it, finally, you're just going to compare all same power. So for example, on this side, we have 12. 12 is made up of 2s and 3s. 4 is only made up of 2. And 5 is made up of 5. And same on the right side also, we have the same 3 prime numbers. So we just had to compare the prime number with the prime number and get it. So let's start breaking it up. 12 is 4 3s are 4 is nothing but 2 square. So my first step will be 2 square into 3 raised to, we've got 12x, so that will remain as it is, multiply by, I've got 4 raised to 24x plus 12. 4 is nothing but 2 square. So 2 square raised to 24x plus 12 multiply by 5 raised to 2y remains as it is. Let's go for the next one. On the right hand side, everything 8 is nothing but 2 cube. So 2 cube raised to 4z multiply by 20 is 4 5s. So 4 is again 2 square into 5. The whole thing raised to 12x multiply by 243. 243 is 3 raised to 5. So 3 raised to 5 raised to 3x minus 6. Right. So these are the things we've got. Now, if I just open up everything very carefully and just compare the 2 with 2, 3 with 3, and so maybe skip a few steps, do a few steps orally. So if I look at the powers of 2 now, I've got 2 and 12x, 2 into 12x. So that will become 24x. Over here, I'll get 48x plus 24. So, and because there's multiplication, it will be plus. So, plus 48x plus 24. Do I have any more 2 on the left hand side? No, I don't have any more 2's on the left hand side. So, take the 3 now. 3, I have only 1, that is 3 raised to 12x. Right? Multiply by 5 also, there's only 1, which is 5 raised to 2y. So we've got these 3 things on the left hand side. Let's do the right hand side also. Again, 2 I have 2 times 2 raised to 12z. 2 raised to 12z plus what? Now we have one more 2, which is 2 square raised to 12x. So that will become 24x. So that is all the 2's I have got. Now 3 I have this only 3 raised to 5. So it will become 3 raised to 15x minus 30. You could have, if you wanted, left it as 5 also, but it doesn't matter too much. Multiply by 5. What is there for 5 over here? I have only 1 5 raised to 1 raised to 12x. So that will become 5 raised to 12x. Now I can just start comparing. Now, obviously, if you look at this, if you look at 3 is having only a x over here and x over here also. So if I'm comparing 3 raised to 12x is equal to 3 raised to 15x minus 30. So in short, I'll get only a 12x is equal to 15x minus 30. So minus 3x is minus 30, x is 10. So I got the first value, I've already got x as 10. Now, if I get x as 10, if you look at 2 or if you look at 5, I'll get y because these two can be compared. X is 10, remember. So 2y is equal to 12x. So 2y is 12x. So 2y is 120, right? Because we've got x is 10. So we've got y is 60. So we got x and y both. Now I need z. Now, right? That we've compared with that. Now let's take z. Z was only present in 2. So I'll have to add this up very carefully. I'm taking this part and this part. So 2 raised to 24x plus 48x plus 24. So it will be 24x plus 48x plus 24 is equal to 12z plus 24x. Luckily, 124x cuts out on both sides, so that became easy. You can divide everything by 12. 4x plus 2 is equal to z. So we've got x as 10. So that will be 40 plus 2, 42. So z is 42. So we got x, y, z, all three. Question asked is find x plus y plus z. 10 plus 60 plus 42. That will be 102 plus 10, 112. Should I be doing this question in an exam in the first round? I definitely think. Yes, it might have taken you 2.5 minutes. By then, especially if you were a slot 3 student, you would have heard that the paper was slightly difficult that year. And looking at this question, I would want to finish it off there and then. Yes, maybe, or it's just about my first B's, but I would prefer calling it a A. Some of you would have called it a B, but just because it is going to take more time. I don't think so, otherwise it was really a B. Question. The next question talks about in a school of with 1500 students, each student chose any one out of the streams science, arts and commerce. So a student is choosing one out of these three, science, arts and commerce, by paying, so there were total 1500 students. By paying a fee of rupees 1100, 1000 and 800. The total fees collected is 15,50,000. So that will give me a second equation, 1100x or whatever I take plus 1000y plus 800z is equal to 15,500. If the number of science students is not more than the number of art students, maximize the possible number of science students. So first thing, should you be looking to do such a question in the test scenario? Well, if you're not really worried too much with the word maximum over here, I don't think so it was a very difficult question. I'll tell you why. Let's have a look at what it is. If I took let the number of science students be x, let the number of art students be y, and let the number of commerce students be z. I have two equations. My first equation is x plus y plus z is 1500. And my second equation is 1100x plus 1000y plus 800z is 15,50,000. Can you not write that and just divide by 100 and get the equation immediately? Which means I would get 11x plus 10y plus 8z is 15,500, dividing both sides by 100. And they've given us one more condition, x is less than or equal to y, and they have told us to maximize x. Now understand, I don't want anything to do with z in the questions. Can I first just simply take the two equations and eliminate z? That means multiply this equation by 8 and subtract the two equations. If I do that, equation 2 minus 1. So 11 minus 8x will give me 3x. 10y minus 8y will give me 2y. 8z minus 8z will give me 0. 15,500 minus 12,000. 15 8z is 120. So 12,000 that will be, so that will give me 3,500. So now I have only one equation with x and y, but I have this condition and I want to maximize x. Now think, if x is less than or equal to y, when will x be maximum? So in short, x will be maximum when x is equal to y. Only if x is equal to y will x be maximum, and hence just take y as x. So I'll get 5x is equal to 3,500 and I'll get x is equal to 700, and that is the maximum value of x. Was not very difficult. I know a lot of students would have looked at this maximum and said, oh, was a difficult question or that, but very frankly, I don't think this was a difficult question. You should have got this. Let's have a look at the next question. One question from Time and Work. A lot to read, approximately 5 to 6 lines to read. And as usual, I know that students, when they look at that much to read, they kind of switch off or call it a level B or level C. Teams A, B, C consist of 5, 8 and 10 members respectively, so that every team member within a team is equally productive. That means all A's are same hardworking or have the same efficiency, all B's have the same efficiency, and all C's have the same efficiency. Okay. Working separately, team A, B, C can complete a job in 40 hours, 50 hours and 4 hours respectively. Let's do one thing. Let's get till here and let's first get something what we can do. So A has 5 members. So can I say 5 A's can do the job in 40 hours. So let's just write it down. 5 A's can do the job in 40 hours. So can I say therefore 1 A will take 200 hours? Obviously 5 times. Huh? If there are 5 men, they can do the job in 40 hours. So 1 man can do the job in 200 hours 5 times. So A can do the job in 200 hours. 8B can do the job in 50 hours. So 1B can do the job in 50 into 8, 400 hours, right? 8 into 50. And 10C can do the job in 4 hours. So therefore C can do the job in 40 hours. 1C. So 1A can do the job in 200 hours, 1B can do the job in 400 hours, and 1C can do the job in 40 hours. If I had taken LCM, the LCM would be 400. So the total work would be 400 units. And therefore A can do how much work? 2 units per hour. B can do 1 unit per hour, while C can do 10 units per hour. Okay. So we got that much. Let's read further. So this part of the question is now more or less done. 2 members from team A, 3 members from team B, and 1 member of team C start the work together. And the member from team C leaves after 23 hours. So till 23 hours, everything worked normally. 23 hours में 2 members of team A. So 2A plus 3 members from B. So 3B and 1 member from team C. 1C. How much does it become? 2A becomes 2 to the 4. So this is 23 into, let's do this part orally. This will be 4. 4 plus 3, 7. 7 plus 10, 17. So this will be 23 into 17. That much work will be done. If you are smart and you've used, open the calculator or do it, or I would have done A plus B into A minus B. So this would be like 400 minus 9, 20 square minus 3 square, 400 minus 9, 391. So 391 units are done. Work was totally 400 units. So work left. So after 23 days, work left is how much? We have 9 units of work left. Now, the ones who are already there between A and B, they are able to do 4 and 3, 7, because 2 A's and 3 B's will do 7 units, right? What have they asked? Let's read. The number of additional members from team B that will be required to replace the member from C to finish the job in the next 1 hour. Okay, so in 1 hour, if I want to finish 23 days, it was 23 hours, but that's okay. So I have only 1 more hour to do this 9 units. So the 2A are already going to do 4 units. The 3B are going to do 3 units. So 4 plus 3, 7 is already being done. So the remaining 2 units which have to be done will have to be done by the new B's who have come, because that's what they said. How many members of from team B will have to come? So we'll need 2 more members from team B to do 2 units to finish off the 9 units. 7 plus 2, 9. And hence answer for this question will be 2 units, which is the second option. Slightly long read. Calculation was not very difficult, but I thought because of the long read, the sum becomes a level B. Even though time and work being my favorite area, in an exam situation, I would have done this question maybe. Let's have a look at the next question. For real values of x, the range of the function f of x is so and so. Given there is what? Now, in an exam situation, I'm leaving this sum immediately for that time and going ahead. Let's see how would we do it now. Couple of approaches I will discuss with you to do this question. One is, let's just call this y and cross multiply and make an equation in terms of x. So if I cross multiply, what will I get? I'll get 2x square y plus 4xy minus 6y equal to 2x minus 3. Bring 2x minus 3 on the left side. So minus 2x plus 3 equals to 0. Right? So this becomes 2y x square. I want the x terms. That is, this is an x term, this is an x term. So if I take, okay, let's write it as 4y minus 2 into x, and the last will be 3 minus 6y. So plus 3 minus 6y is equal to 0. So this is your a for the quadratic equation. This is your a, this is your b, and this is your c. Now, what is the main thing? We want real values of x. That means delta has to be greater than or equal to 0. Delta is nothing but b square minus 4ac has to be greater than or equal to 0. Let's try and get this in place. What is b square? 4y minus 2 the whole square. I'm opening up the bracket, so it will become 16y square minus 16y plus 4, right? That is b square minus 4a. A is 2y into c is 3 minus 6y is greater than or equal to 0. Let's solve this very carefully. So we've got 16y square minus 16y plus 4 minus 8 3s are 24y plus minus minus plus 4 2s are 8, 8 6s are 48, 8 6s are 48 y square greater than or equal to 0. 16 plus 48 is 64y square minus 40y plus 4 is greater than or equal to 0. We can divide by 4. So I'll get 16y square minus 10y plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. 16 ones are 16. I can factorize this by splitting a middle term, minus 8 and minus 2. So 16y square minus 8y minus 2y plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. I can take 8y common, giving me 2y minus 1. 8y common, 2y minus 1, minus 1 common, 2y minus 1 greater than or equal to 0. So I get, now I have two values, half and 1 upon 8. Half is the bigger value, 1 upon 8 is the smaller value. So if you've seen this type of topic earlier, you've done enough questions around this, you should know x will always be greater than or equal to half and x will be less than or equal to 1 by 8. That means I need an option with half and 1 by 8 both. Understand? I need an option with half and 1 by 8 both. So my option A goes out, option B goes out, option C also goes out, option D is more or less the answer, greater than or equal to half. That means from half to infinity and from 1 by 8 to negative infinity. Perfect answer is the fourth option. So logically, if you just arrived at this and then if you took a chance, you would have got the fourth option. That brings me to my second approach for this question. I got my first approach. This is a standard maxima minima approach which has to be done, but that's a slightly difficult approach. A lot of people haven't practiced this so much, and we're not even going to say it is not a level C. Even with the second approach, I'm saying it's a level C question only. In the second approach, what I can do is, for students who like calculus, I could have done derivatives, call this as y again. So what is y dash? What is derivative of u upon v? Derivative of u upon v is v into derivative of u, that is 2x square plus 4x minus 6 into derivative of 2x minus 3. Derivative of 2x is 2, derivative of 3 is 0, minus 2x minus 3 into derivative of 2x square is 4x plus 4 upon v square, right? So that's the second one. We got the derivative. Now the v square is not important over here because I want to equate this to 0. So if I open the bracket up, I get 4x square plus 8x minus 12 minus 8x square. 2x into 4x is 8x square minus sign minus 8x square. 2x into 4 is 8x and minus 12x. So minus 4 will become plus 4x and plus 12. Okay, upon v square is, so that it will cross multiply on the other side, become equal to 0. So I've got negative 4x square plus 12x minus 12 plus 12 equal to 0 is gone. We're left with equal to 0. So now let's check what have we got for this. Now I get two values for x. 4x, if I take 12x is equal to 4x square, I'll get x, either x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 3. 3, no, x square is equal to 3. So x is equal to root 3. Okay, 1 second. एक स्टेप पीछे जाएंगे, सॉरी, यहाँ पे एडिट करना पड़ेगा थोड़ा सा. So I'll get 4x square is equal to 12x. If I solve this, I get two answers for x. I'll get x is equal to 0 or x cuts out and or x is equal to 3. Now you've got two answers for x. We want the range for real value of x, we want the range of the function. That means you will have to put these values in the question. Now if you put x as 0, what will be my first value? So what is f of 0? When I put x as 0, what will I get? I'll get, in the numerator, I'll get minus 3. Denominator, I'll get minus 6. So minus 3 upon minus 6 is half. So I know that my answer has to have a half because one of the range, either on the upper side or the lower side, is half. This option doesn't have a half. This option doesn't have a half. This option has a half. So answer can be third or fourth option. Now I just need to put x is 3 again in the question. If I put x is 3 in the question, that means if I find f of 3, I'll get 6 minus 3 is 3 upon, I'm putting x as 3. So 9 2s are 18. 18 plus 12 minus 6. 18 plus 12 is 30. 30 minus 6 is 24. So 3 upon 24, which is 1 by 8. And on the other range, I get 1 by 8. That means one of the, see, again, by proper derivative method, you should actually take double derivative and check it. But since only one option satisfies with 1 by 8 and half, I would take a chance in the exam and mark the option D. So these are the two approaches you could have used, either one of them for the exam. And sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith and say, even if you're doing this calculus method, that okay, it works out quickly, only one option is there, let's take it and go ahead. Let's have a look at the next question. A triangle ABC. So we've got geometry with two sides equal. So it's an isosceles triangle. All three sides are given. We want the sum of the length of all the three altitudes. I don't know about all three altitudes, but one altitude looks very, very, very simple. So if I have triangle ABC, where these two sides are 50-50 and this side is 80. If I drop a perpendicular, what do I know about the perpendicular? In an isosceles triangle, the perpendicular will bisect the base. That means this will become 40 and this will become 40, which means by simple Pythagoras triplet, I should know my length of AD. 3, 4, 5, it will become 30, 40, 50. So I'm not even showing the calculation Pythagoras theorem. So AD square will be 50 square minus 40 square. So in short, AD will come out to be 30. Now, since I got AD as 30, I have got one altitude. They want us to find the sum of all three altitudes. Now, I know that if I find one more altitude, it will be the same as the two altitudes will be equal. So let's say draw one more altitude. Let's call it as, say, BM. If I drew one more altitude from over here, let's calling it as BM. Now, the area of the triangle is same, right? So if I find area of the triangle by taking half into 80 base and 30 as the height, that same area should come as half into 50 into BM, because area will remain same either ways. Half cuts out, 0 cuts out, 5 1s are 5 16s are. So BM comes out to be 48. So obviously the other altitude, if I drew one more altitude, CN also would be 48. And there was sum of all the altitudes will be 30 plus 48 plus 48. That is 96 plus 30, 126. Basic one, if you had drawn the diagram, you would have got the question. Simple geometry question, definitely a level A question. Let's have a look at the next question. The ratio of the number of coins in box A and B is 17:7. After 108 coins were shifted from box A to box B, this ratio now becomes 37:20. Very frankly, if I'm reading the sum only till here, only I should decide that I'm got to do it. And do a very traditional method, no smart methods needed. The ratio of the number of coins in box A is to be 17:7. So let the number of coins be 17x and 7x. 108 coins were shifted from A to B. So minus 108 over here plus 108 over here. The ratio becomes 37:20. Right? Let's just cross multiply. 17/20s are 17/20s is 340x minus 108 into 20 is equal to 37/7s are 7 7s are 49, 4 carry 20, 259. 259x plus 108 into 37. The reason I'm not multiplied, you can see now. 340 minus 259 is equal to 108 into 37 plus 108 into 20. How much will this be? 10 minus 9 is 1. 13 minus 5 is 8. So 81x is 108 into 57. Right? 37 plus 20. Start cutting. 9 9s are 81. 9 1s are 9 2s are 3 3s are 3 4s are 3 1s are 3 19s are. So x comes out to be 76. Calculations are bad, but sum is very simple. X is 76. Number of coins that needs to be shifted further. That means after the first round of shifting, so that the ratio becomes 1:1. That means both of them become equal. So let's find out how many coins were there now after the shifting. So after shifting, we have 17x minus 108 and 7x plus 108. Okay. So yes, you can use your calculator over here. I'll just show the calculations over here. 76 into 17. 17 6 is 102. 10 carry. 17 7 is 119. 119 plus 10 is 129. So 1292 minus 108. That is 4811. 1184. So after the two shiftings, the box A. So after the first shifting, the box A has 1184 coins. And what does box B have? It will have 76 into 7 plus 108. So let's do 76 into 7, 42, 4 carry, 532 plus 108. Right? So that will become 424 coins. No, sorry, it was a plus. Sorry, that will become 10, 4, and 6. So 640 coins. So after the first shifting, I have 1184 and 640 over here. How many more will I have to shift? Find the difference and make it half. If that much, if I shift, so suppose if I have 10 coins and you have 20 coins, you don't have to give me 10 coins, you have to just give me 5. That is difference and half. So let's find the difference. Difference will be 544. Half of that, half of 544 will be 272. So if I shift 272 coins, both of them will have equal number 1:1. If by chance they had said not 1:1 and some other ratio, then I would have said let the number of coins shifted be y. And if somebody wanted to do that method, I would have said 1184 minus y upon 640 plus y is 1:1, or whatever new ratio would have been given over here. You would solve that and you will get the answer 272. And that's your final answer for this question. Bad calculations, but easy question. And that was maybe the trend for this slot for CAT 25. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is a question from logarithms. Not a very easy question. There was a trap in the question also. Pay attention very carefully. So they've given us log of something, log of x square minus 9 is equal to log of x plus 1 plus 2. Both of them have the same base. So what all can I do over here? Pay attention. Now, over here, first thing which I can do is bring both the logs on the same side, and 2 I can write it as 2 into log x minus 3 to the base x minus 3. Now, but even before I do that, I want to check what are the possible values of x. There's a base x minus 3. That means x minus 3 has to be greater than 0 and x has to be greater than 3. Now, if x has to be greater than 3, that means all possible real values of x have to be greater than 3. So, sum of all possible real values of x cannot be 3 or minus 3. So, according to me, more or less, these two options are out. And that is the main thing. If you've done this right at the start, your whole effort or that mistake, which the trap which was set by the examiner, would have been removed. Okay, pay attention very carefully. So log x square minus 9 minus log x plus 1, both to base x minus 3, so I'm not even writing it, is equal to 2 log x minus 3 to base x minus 3. So all the places base is gone. This 2 will go on top, so I'll get a 2 over here. Log a minus log b is log a by b. X square minus 9 can be written as x plus 3 into x minus 3 upon x plus 1, which is x minus 3, log x minus 3, the whole square. I hope you all understood how the base was removed. There was no need to write the base after this step. Now, can I cut, or let's do it in the next step. Log gone from both sides. So now can I cut x minus 3 on both sides? Yes, I can cut. Because we know that x minus 3 is greater than 0. Because we can cut only if x minus 3 is not equal to 0 and it is greater than 0, so it is not equal to 0. So I'm left with x plus 3 is x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 1, which will become x square minus 2x minus 3. Bringing everything on one side, 0 is equal to x square minus 3x minus 6. People who had not eliminated these two options would have maybe at this step made the mistake saying that sum of the roots is minus b by a and sum of the roots is 3 therefore. And a lot of people would have taken the answer as C. The right way to do is now actually solve for x. X is equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So x is 3 plus or minus root 33 upon 2. Now understand, so one of the values of x, which is alpha, suppose is 3 plus root 33 upon 2. And the other value is beta is 3 minus root 33 upon 2. Now remember that this value is actually negative value. And we clearly know x has to be greater than 3, so x has to be positive, even more than 3. 3 minus root 33. Root 33 is roughly 4 point something. Oh, sorry, 5 point something. So 3 minus 5 is negative upon 2 will be negative, and hence this value is discarded. So there's only one value for x. So sum of all the real values will also be that one value only. Answer will be option A. A lot of people, as I said, maybe have marked C. Think and let me know in the chat whether you have marked C and that is the error which you made. Hi, let's have a look at the next question. The next question is I thought a pretty standard question from geometry, where they've told us ABC is an isosceles triangle with AB equal to AC equal to 12. So let's just draw that much. We have two sides of a triangle equal, AB equal to AC equal to 12. D is a point on BC somewhere such that AD is 8. So we don't know where it is. So just let's take a random point D such that AD is 8. What else is given? If AD is extended till point E such that angle ACB and angle AEB are equal. So let's extend this. So this is one straight line till E over here such that angle ACB, right? That's what they've said. ACB, that is this angle, is equal to angle AEB, that is this angle. Obviously, these two angles are also equal because of an isosceles triangle. So if I call this angle as x, this angle is also x, and this angle is also x. So we've got these three angles x, and we want to find the length of AE. Now, if you think very carefully, obviously sides are given, some angles are given equal, which means your main focus has to be towards similarity. You should be thinking similarity. Can I get the triangle similar which I want? So I want one triangle with AE in it, which I can think of as triangle AEB. So I can think of triangle AEB. Now between AEB and triangle ADB, because I also have AD and I have AB, I will have one common angle, that is angle BAD or BAE is the same angle. So can I say for these two triangles, let's get the two angles which we want. Angle BAD will be congruent or equal to angle BAE because that's a common angle, and ABD is equal to AEB because both are x. We just showed this angle was given equal to this angle, and the earlier two angles were equal by isosceles triangle. So now just let's write the similarity, right? Whenever you're doing similarity, always write the one-to-one correspondence properly. So triangle ABD is similar to triangle AEB. Okay? And realize you don't need EB because EB is not needed, not given. So which means you don't need BD also, which is also not given, not take the other two sides. So you can take AB upon AE, which I want, is AD upon AB. If you've written the one-to-one correspondence right, you don't need to check again. So what is AB? AB is 12. So AB into AB will become 12 into 12. AD is 8. 8 into AE. So 144 divided by 8 will become 18, I think. So yeah, AE will become 18. And that's my answer. Where would I place this question? I would put it at level B, maybe because the similarity might not strike to you very easily. A lot of people are thinking different approaches. But I thought once you realize it was similarity, should not have been a very difficult question to get it. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is a question from mixtures. Again, a pretty interesting question. All the questions, had some or the other shortcut which you could apply and do it smartly. So vessel A and B contain 60 liters of alcohol and 60 liters of water respectively. So vessel A contains alcohol which is 60 liters and there is no water in this vessel, while vessel B contains alcohol 0 and water which is 60 liters, right? This is the initial state. A certain volume is taken out from A and poured into B. So something from here is taken and poured into B. So obviously when I will pour first time, only alcohol will go, water will not even go because there is no water. After stirring the mixture well, the same volume is then removed from B and poured into A. So when I do it first time, suppose if I say X liters is removed and poured into B. So alcohol remaining will be 60 minus X. Water will still remain 0 after first step. Over here, alcohol will become X and water will remain 60. And after doing all this, they have said the amount of alcohol and water. Now remember, the total remains the same because whatever is transferred from A to B, that much only is transferred from B to A. So total still remains 60 and the ratio of alcohol to water is 15:4. Now, main trick in this question was not to solve for both of them. Solve only for one of them. So I'm going to solve only for water because I thought that was going to be easy. Pay attention carefully. How much water will be transferred in the next second transaction? Water is 60, alcohol is X. So ratio of water is 60 upon 60 plus X out of X because you're going to transfer X. So this is the amount of water which I will transfer from B to A. There will be alcohol also transferred, but water will be 60 upon 60 plus X into X. And this water makes 4 parts out of a total of 19 parts. So hence amount of water in vessel B will be 4 by 19 of 60. So these both will become equal. Let's equate them and solve them. So what will we get? 60x upon 60 plus x is 4 by 19 of 60. 60 cuts. Cross multiply. 19x is equal to 240 plus 4x. So we get 15x is equal to 240. Therefore, x is 16. And that's your final answer. 16 liters are transferred. That value which is being transferred first from A to B and then from B to A is nothing but 16 liters. Interesting question. If you are not done this and suppose you are done only on alcohol. See, you can do only on alcohol also. In fact, if you want, we can try this and show you why alcohol would have been difficult. So doing the thing for alcohol would have been difficult. So if I just remove all these calculations over here. Okay. So what would happen? Not that it's impossible, but it will be, I think it will be lengthier. So let's check that also. So there's already 60 minus X alcohol. How much alcohol will come in the second transaction? Alcohol is X out of 60 plus X. of x, and this part makes it a x square, which is going to make a quadratic. This is the amount of alcohol which will go. So 60 minus x alcohol is already there, plus x square upon 60 plus x. Maybe we might not get quadratic. This is nothing but, so I'll just go through this again. 60 minus x is the amount of alcohol which is already there. Alcohol is x upon 60 plus x of x, right? Looks right, is equal to 15 upon 90 of 60. Now, if I take LCM over here, what will I get? I will get 3600 minus x square plus x square. So I'll get 3600 minus x square plus x square will cut upon 60 plus x is equal to 15 into 60 upon 19. 60 60s are cut, 15 ones are 15 fours are cut. So I'm going to be left with more or less the same thing. 76 is equal to 60 plus x, and x is 16. Not that this was also bad, but there was unnecessary one extra step involved in terms of solving. There the solving was much easier. So whether you did it with only alcohol or only water, the main trick was to do it only for one of them. Again, if you do it for both of them, you're wasting double the time, and then even the calculation will get that much more difficult. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is initially a standard question from Venn diagram. Again, a long read, but if you finally look at the whole question, and if you had practiced enough of Venn diagram, I think this was a doable question. In a class of 150 students, 75 students have taken physics. There are three subjects: physics, chemistry, and maths. So 75 have taken physics. 111 students chose mathematics. So mathematics was 111, and 40 students chose chemistry. Chemistry was 40. All the students chose at least one of the three subjects. That means outside these three circles, there is nobody. That means, in short, A union B union C was 150. Okay, that means this total of all the values in the circle would be 150. And there are at least one student chose all three subjects. That means this is not 0. The central value cannot be 0. Okay. Next, the number of students who chose both physics and chemistry. The number of students who chose both physics and chemistry. Suppose if I take that as x, is same as the number of students who chose both chemistry and maths, which is half of the number of students who chose physics and maths. So this is 2x. Understand why do I write it over here and not over here? X over here is wrong, because what happens over here, very frankly, if you understand, this x will represent this area as well as this area, right? So you have to be very careful about that part. Let the number of students who chose all three areas be y, and we just said y cannot be equal to 0. So we got that as y. This becomes x minus y. This becomes 2x minus y. This also becomes x minus y. Can I find people who, and what do I want to find at the end? I want to maximize the possible number of students who chose physics but not maths. So physics but not maths, that means out of physics I have to remove this 2x, rest everything I want. So which means, in short, I want to maximize 75 minus 2x. So remember, this is what you're trying to maximize. If you're trying to maximize 75 minus 2x, you're trying to minimize x. You want to keep x as small as possible. Now, let's pay attention very carefully. So what will this area be? Only maths. That's my way of doing it. Somebody can use A union B union C ka formula also, no problem. My way of doing it is 111 minus 3x plus y is only maths. Only chemistry will be 40 minus 2x plus y. Okay. I will not do that for physics because I will add full 75 this one circle. 75 plus 111 minus 3x plus y plus this part x minus y plus 40 minus 2x plus y is equal to 150. Bring all numbers on one side carefully. This becomes 186. 186 plus 40 is 226 minus 150 plus y minus y cuts out. There's only one y left. Minus 3 minus 2 minus 5 plus 1 minus 4x goes on the other, becomes 4x minus y. So we've got 4x minus y is 76. Now remember, it is 4x minus y, and I want to keep x minimum possible. So if I want to keep x minimum, y also has to be minimum because it's 4x minus y. So what is the minimum value of y which you will take, which cannot be 0, it cannot be negative obviously, and so that x also is an integer, number of students, so it can't be not an integer, it has to be integer. So hence over here y0, x would have come 19, but y0 is not allowed, so y can be 4. The next possible value for y will be 4, and 4x becomes 80, therefore 2x becomes 40. Okay, 2x is 40, you want to find 75 minus 2x, so 75 minus 40, which is 35, which is the option B. Interesting question, slightly long read, maybe only because of that it was a level B, otherwise very frankly it could have been a level A. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is a question from profit and loss. There is some profit involved, discount involved, mark price involved, and I think we want to find the mark price only, right? The monthly sales of a product from Jan to April were so many units. So 120, 135, 150, 165. As I was reading these numbers, I realized this is 15 8s, 15 9s, 15 10s, and 15 11s. So in my mind, there was always there that I can take 15 common. The cost price of the product was 240 per unit. That's the cost. So 240 multiplied by all those things will give you the cost. And a fixed mark price was used for the product in all the 4 months. So a mark price was fixed for all 4 months, but different discounts were given. In the first month, there was a discount of 20%, then 10%, then 5%, and then 0% discount, no discount in April. Okay. So if the profit was 1,38,825, big numbers, besides those big numbers, I think this question was very straightforward. Let me explain why. Suppose if I say let the mark price be 100x. Now the mark price is 100x. First month ka selling price, there is 20% discount, which will become 80x. So 120 multiplied by 80x becomes the selling price of the first month, plus 135 multiplied by 90x becomes the selling price of the second month. 150 multiplied by 95x becomes the selling price of the third month. And 165 into 100x becomes the selling price of the fourth month. And what is this equal to? This is selling price. Selling price minus the cost price is equal to profit. So profit plus cost price is also same. So profit I know is 138825. I have to add the cost price to this. Cost price was 240 per unit. And how many units were there? If you count all this, this is 1919 plus 1938. 38 into 15. I think that should be 270. Yeah. Not 270, 570. 285, 285, 570. So 240 into 570. Okay. Now, I clearly knew I could divide everything by 15 because these were all multiples of 15. So I initially thought just let's divide by 15. 15 common and then 15 cut is same as dividing by 15. So 15 8s, 15 9s, 15 10s, 15 11s. And obviously before doing that, I checked whether this number was divisible by 15. So this was 15 9s 135, 15 2s 30, then 15 5s and 15 5s. So 9255. And this will also cut with 15, 15, 16s. We just use that calculation behind in some question. I can still go ahead and maybe divide by 3. But yeah, I can divide by 3 and maybe, yeah, can I divide by, no, I cannot divide by 3 because 8 and 80 don't go by 3. But yeah, maybe I could divide by 5 throughout. I don't know whether it was worth it or not. I can just use a calculator or do the calculation. 640x plus 810x plus 950x plus 1100x, okay, is 9255 plus 16 into 570. So 16 zeros is 0, 16 sevens is 112, 2 and 11 carry, 16 5s is 80, 80 plus 11 is 91, 9120. Let's add all these up. I'm going to add the extra values first. So I've got a 40 plus 10, 50, 50 plus 50, 100. 100 plus 1100 is 1200. 1200 plus 9, 21. 21 plus 8, 29. 29 plus 6, 35. So this is 3500x. You all could have used the calculator, no problem over here. Is how much? This will become 18375. Remember, you don't want to find x, you want to find 100x. So just divide both sides by 35. Dividing both sides by 35, this will be 7 5s are, this will be 7 2s are 14, 4 7 6s are 42, 1 7 2s are 14, and then 5s are 5 5s are 25, 5 2s are, and 5 5s are. So 100x is 525. So the mark price is 525, which is option number C. Again, I hope you'll agree with me that except the calculation, which was bad, and somebody said, okay, forget it, I don't even see the 15 common. Would have used the calculator, multiplied all this very carefully. It cannot take more than a minute and a half. Even if you use the whole thing on the calculator, it cannot take a minute and a half. So answer is 525, which is the option C. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is a very, very interesting question from time, speed, distance. And it will be a very good question for people if they really want to revise time, speed, distance well and understand the concept. So Rahul starts on his journey at 5 p.m. at a constant speed and reaches his destination by 11 p.m. That means his journey is full for 6 hours. However, on his way, he stops for 20 minutes. So instead of actually 6 hours, he's actually running, walking, whatever, for 20 minutes lesser. After that, he increases speed by 3 kilometers per hour to reach on time. So that means somewhere in between, not exactly in the middle, somewhere in between, he stopped for 20 minutes. And the remaining part of the journey, he did at whatever his speed was, speed plus 3, so that, understand, so that he would complete on time. Okay. Had he stopped for 10 minutes more, that means instead of 20 minutes, had he stopped for 30 minutes, he would have to increase his speed by 5 kilometers per hour. And what was his initial speed is what is asked. So the important thing in this question is not to do it right from the starting, not worry about the 6 hours, which is not even needed in the question, very frankly, and do only the second part of the question really well. When I mean second part of his journey really well. In the second part of his journey, suppose he took a halt over here. Wherever he was coming from, he took a halt over here. If he had not taken the halt, in that 20 minutes is 1/3 of an hour, he would have covered a distance equal to 1/3 into his speed, 1/3 s, but he didn't do that. He stopped there for 20 minutes. Because of that, for the remaining journey, he had to cover at 3 kilometers per hour extra. So whatever time was that remaining journey for, let's call that time as t. Suppose that remaining time was for t. So t into that extra 3 is the distance which he has to cover up, which he missed. That was 1/3 s. I'll repeat this. T into 3 is 1/3 s, because the time whichever was left from here to the end, that we are calling as t. So t into that extra speed. See, original speed is not to be taken over here because that distance anyway he was going to cover. So the extra which he has to cover, t into 3, is 1/3 of s. Second time, he stops here. So he has 10 more minutes lesser. So he doesn't have t this time. He has t minus 10 minutes. That is t minus 1/6 into 5. And he would have got half an hour. So he would have covered a distance half s, 30 minutes. Now, this we will need to go through carefully. These are both your equations. Pay attention very carefully. Okay. Let's assume he stopped over here. Point A, he has stopped here. If he had not stopped, in 20 minutes, he would have covered this distance 1/3 s. So he increases speed. See, the remaining distance at the regular speed, he covers, which he had to anyway cover. So from B to C or whatever, he was going to anyway cover. But he increased the speed so that he gets this much distance extra. So the increased speed, that is 3 extra, that is t into 3, will give him 1/3 s. Second time, he has 10 more minutes lesser. So t minus 1/6 into 5 is half of s, because he would have covered half s that time, 30 minutes. Solve, we want to find s. So don't solve for t unnecessary. So if I bring 3 down over here, my first equation becomes 1/9 s is t. Leave it here. Second equation, I'll bring the phi down. So I'll get 1 by 10 s plus 1 by 6 is also equal to t. And equate them both. So I'll get 1 by 9 s is equal to 1 by 10 s plus 1 by 6. Multiply by 90 throughout. So I'll get 10s is equal to 9s plus 15 and s is 15. Let me tell you, this question is not as easy as it looks to be. This question definitely is slightly more difficult than what it seems to be. Lot of students would have done initial distance ke baare mein also some calculations and would have not figured this whole part out. A lot of people would do x plus 3 and all that becomes a little bit difficult. So you have to be very careful in what you do, how you do this part. Have you really understood it well? Answer is the third option. Let's have a look at a standard question from algebra. Now this question, even before the test, you would have definitely practiced enough number of times. You have x square plus 1 upon x square and you want to find x raised to 7 plus 1 upon x raised to 7. Now x raised to 7 plus 1 upon x raised to 7, the easiest way of finding it will be x raised to 4 plus 1 upon x raised to 4 into x cube plus 1 upon x cube. You will get through this. This is not equal to this, but when you expand this, you will more or less get what we want. So I need to find these two things. I have x square plus 1 upon x square. Let's square it. So I'll get x raised to 4 plus 1 upon x raised to 4 plus 2 is 625. A square plus b square plus 2ab. So I'll get x raised to 4 plus 1 upon x raised to 4 is 623. Leave this over here. Okay. Now, if I do x plus 1 upon x to find x cube plus 1 upon x cube, I'll need to find x plus 1 upon x. What is x plus 1 upon x the whole square? It is x square plus 1 upon x square plus 2. Now this we know is 25. 25 plus 2 becomes 27. So x plus 1 upon x becomes root 27. Root 27 we know is nothing but 3 root 3. And I can see all my options are also in terms of root 3. So looks pretty good. X plus 1 upon x. Now I need to find this x cube plus 1 upon x cube. What is x plus 1 upon x the whole cube? It is a cube plus b cube plus 3ab, which will become 3 only in this case, into a plus b. So x plus 1 upon x was 3 root 3. Cube of 3 root 3. 3 cube is 27. Root 3 cube is 3 root 3. So 27 3s are 81 root 3. This is nothing but 9 root 3 because this is 3 root 3. 3 root 3 into 3 is 9 root 3. So minus 9 root 3 is x cube plus 1 upon x cube. So x cube plus 1 upon x cube is 72 root 3. Okay. Now, if I multiply these two, what will I get? Pay attention very carefully if I multiply these two. If I multiply these two, I'll get 1 x raised to 4 into x cube will be x raised to 7. 1 upon x raised to 4 into 1 upon x cube will be 1 upon x raised to 7. That is okay, but there will be two more terms. X raised to 4 into 1 upon x cube will be x, and 1 upon x raised to 4 into x cube will be 1 upon x. This multiplied by this will be a big number. Let's leave it over here, 623 into 72 root 3, right? Let's leave it over here. I want this. X raised to 7 plus 1 upon x raised to 7 is 623 into 72 root 3 minus this part, which we know is 3 root 3. This answer is also going to be something in root 3. Now, what you can do, obviously you would want to check it on the calculator, but what you can also do is the last digit over here is going to be 6. So this is some big number, 6 root 3 minus 3 root 3. Final answer has to come in form of last digit 3 root 3. So this multiplication, just to tell you, was 44856. 44856 root 3 minus 3 root 3 would give you 44853 root 3. So even without the calculation, it could be done. But obviously, as I said, in an exam situation, people would want to check it. But this is something which you've definitely done before. Yes, again, maybe, in practice, x raised to 1 upon 7 doesn't look as difficult. With big numbers, it looks a little bit difficult. But this is how the question is to be done. Let's have a look at the next question. Standard linear equation question. Nothing very difficult, very straightforward question. Average salary of 5 managers and 25 engineers is 60,000 rupees. So if I say let the manager be M rupees ka salary, engineer be E rupees salary. So their salary was 60,000. I'm going to keep it as 1000 as K only, into 30 people. So this was the total salary. Equation number 1. If each of the manager received 20% salary hike and the engineers ka salary remained the same, then the average salary of the 30% people, 30 employees will increase by 5%. So M will become 1.2M. So 1.2M into 5 will become 6M. This remains 25E. This is increasing by 5%. That means this becomes into 1.05. Just look at the way I'm doing the calculations. Subtract both the equations. I want to find E. I know if I subtract, or you can multiply by 6 and 5 and then directly find E, but I thought even subtracting them now was easy. 6M minus 5M will become M. 60,000 into 30 is common. 1.05 minus 1 will be 0.05. If I remove these decimals, 100 over here, 2 zeros cut out. 6 3s are 18, 18 5s are 90K. 90K is the salary of one manager. If I take if I take the first equation, 5 managers will be 450K plus 25E is 1800K. Everything is still in terms of thousands only. So 25E will be 1800 minus 450, 1350K. So E will be 25, 5s are 125, 10, 25, 4s are 100. So E is 54,000. The salary of one engineer is 54,000. Answer is option B. Standard linear equation, nothing fancy to be done. I didn't try to do any fancy method. I thought the calculation was pretty straightforward. Yes, again, that if you had not put that 1000, so many zeros, maybe some calculation error somewhere you could have made. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is again a question from time, speed, distance, where I felt that the language was a little bit ambiguous. Obviously, once you know that it is a theta question, it has to be something the way you have to understand the language. Ankita walks from A to C through B. So there are, say there is A to C and there is somewhere in between B, not exactly the midpoint, and turns back and runs at a speed of 40% higher than the walking speed. So her running speed is 40% higher than her walking speed. So if I take speed of walking as 5, I can take speed of running as 7. So 5 and 7, this becomes, these are just, I've taken units, nothing, no minutes, no kilometers per hour, nothing, just units. Now, she takes exactly 3 hours, 30 minutes to walk from B to C, as well as to run from B to A. Now, a lot of people initially read this as the total time was 3.5 hours. No, what they've said is that this time to walk was 3.5 hours, and this time to run was 3.5 hours. Those were 3.5 hours separately. And that was the main crux of the question. Once you got that, you understood that, rest all was very easy. We need to know how much time will she take to run over here and to walk over here. So you can do with ratios, you can do with values, doesn't matter too much. 3.5, I'm going to use as 7/2 hours. So in this 7/2 hours, at a speed of 5, right? She's walking, so speed is 5. She covers so much distance, so this becomes distance. If I divide that by 7, it will become 5/2 hours. That is the time taken to run. Exactly opposite if I do over here. For this 7/2 hours, at a speed of 7, she is running. So at walking, she'll take more time. So she takes 49/10 or 4.9 exactly hours. So 4.9 hours over here and 2.5 hours over here. So the running distance is now covered by walking in 4.9 hours, and the walking distance is covered by running in 2.5 hours. So the total time becomes 7.4 hours. Remember, they've asked the answer in minutes. 7 hours will be 420 minutes plus 0.4 hours will be 0.4 into 60, which will be 24 minutes. So answer will be 444 minutes. As I said, the issue in this question was more about understanding that part. carefully. Let's have a look at the next question. Again, I think one of the easiest question of this test. The rate of flow through 3 pipes A, B, C is in the ratio 4:9:36. An empty tank can be filled by A in 15 hours. If all 3 pipes are open simultaneously to fill up this empty tank in time, the time required in minutes to fill is nearest to what? So, pipe A, whose flow is 4, is able to do the job in 15 hours. So, 15 into 60, so many minutes. And if all of them are working, the work done will be 4 plus 9 plus 36. So, answer is 60 into 60 divided by 49. You should have just used a calculator. 3600 divided by 49 is approximately 73.46. Okay, I've done this on the calculator. Answer is option C. Very, very, very easy question. In an exam situation also, it cannot take you more than half a minute. And even with the use of calculator, definitely a level equation. Let's have a look at the next question. A question on numbers. A 4-digit number greater than 1000, where the sum of the digits of the thousands, hundreds, and tens place is 15. So it's a 4-digit number greater than 1000. So none of the digits are 0. So A, B, it's greater than 1000. Yeah, some of the digits can be 0, sorry. Other digits can be 0. Now A cannot be 0. If I take the digits as A, B, C, D, we know A cannot be equal to 0. What have they said? The sum of the thousands, hundreds, and tens place is 15. That means A plus B plus C is 15, equation 1. And sum of the digits in the hundreds, tens, and units place is 16. That means B plus C plus D is 16. If I subtract these two equations, B and C will cut out. I'll get D minus A is 1. Now D minus A is 1. So D can be 9, A can be 8, and so on. Different cases are possible. Let's leave it over here. Also, the digit in the tens place is C, is greater than the digit in the units place, or is 6 more than the digit in the units place. So C minus D is also given as 6. So we have these two conditions now. Obviously, we still can't find the complete number. There'll be cases. The difference between the largest and the smallest possible value of the number is what? So let's take different cases for A, B, C, D. C minus D is 6. So C can be 9. That time D can be 3. And D minus A is 1. So A can be D minus A is 1, right? So yeah, so A can be 2. And we knew A plus B plus C is 15. So in this case, A plus B plus C is 15. So B will have to come out to be 4. So one of the possible numbers is 2, 4, 9, 3. What can C also be? C can be 8. If C is 8, D will be 2. Then A will be 3. This is how much? Now understand this very carefully, okay? Let's see whether we've not made any error. D minus A, so D will be 1, sorry, not 3. A will be 1 in this case. Now, if A is 1, 1 plus 8 is 9. And we want A plus B plus C to be 15, right? So this will be 9 plus 6, 15. Now, let's check what have they asked for. They've asked for the greatest possible and the smallest possible number. There will not be a number smaller than this because here we already reached 1. If I take the next value, A will go to 0, which is not possible. So 2493 minus 1682 is what is asked. 118 over here. So answer is the second option. Just had to be careful, have some patience in such questions, do it with patience, and you would have easily got this question also. Again, I think a level A question should have got this question in the test scenario. Let's have a look at the next question. This question, a lot of people were stumped by. Yes, it is not very straightforward. Also, if you have not practiced such questions before, the sum of all digits of the number 10 raised to 50 plus 10 raised to 25 minus 123. What did I do was, I first took 10 raised to 25 minus 123. I said, let me think this much. So this will have 25 zeros, 3, 4, 5, 6. Say last 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Minus 123. When I start subtracting, what will I get? I'll get 10 minus 3 is 7, 9 minus 2 is 7, 9 minus 1 is 8. And here I would have borrowed, I got a 9. And I would have got all 9s. So these all would become 9. Now let me explain this to you. These were 25 zeros. These were 25 zeros. When I subtracted this, obviously this got borrowed, this became 9. So these are now still 25 digits. These are still 25 digits with 22 nines, 1 8, 1 7 and one more 7. Now let's add 10 raised to 50 to this, or this to 10 raised to 50. So if I'm going to add 10 raised to 50, 10 raised to 50 will have 51 zeros. There'll be a 1 in the start and there'll be 51 zeros. So all will be 0, 0, 0. Everything will be 0. And when you are adding, it's much easier. This whole thing will remain same. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 8, 7, 7. And this 1 will come as it is. So whatever total I was going to get over here, that extra 1 will be added only. That much difference will happen. So I had 22 times 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 7. And now I have extra 1. This is what? 198. This is 22 plus 123. That will become 221, which is the D option. Now, obviously, people could have added first and then subtracted, and you could have got this question. This question maybe left you stumped in the test only, I think, because maybe you've not seen a similar question. That's what CAT is about. You need to be ready for a surprise question and say, okay, this is something which I have not seen before, but I think I should be able to solve it. Yes, given some amount of time, most of you would have got it. But in an exam situation, maybe it got you a little bit nervous, and make it a level B question. Let's have a look at the next question. F of x is x square plus 3x into x square plus 3x plus 2. And the sum of the roots of this equation is 9701. So let's write that. Find sum of all real roots, and that equation is given as root of f of x plus 1 is 9701. We want to find the sum of all real roots of the equation. That means sum of all real values of x. Now, there is no condition over here for x. X can be anything, not like that log question where x had to be greater than 3. So here those conditions are not there. Okay. If I put the function over here, so what will I get? I'll get x square plus 3x into x square plus 3x plus 2 plus 1 in the square root is 9701. Main thing was this, to take this as a. If you take this as a, what will you get? You'll get a into a plus 2 plus 1. Square root of that is 9701. Expand. This will become a square plus 2a plus 1 is 9701. You should know, based on basic algebra, a square plus 2a plus 1 is nothing but a plus 1 the whole square. So this is a plus 1 the whole square is 9701. So a plus 1 the whole square and the square root will go away. So we'll get a plus 1 is 9701. So a is 9700. That means x square plus 3x minus 9700 is 0. Please don't try to solve this out. We just need to check whether delta is greater than 0 or not. Yes, delta will definitely be greater than 0 because b square minus 4ac, this will also be positive, plus 9 will be greater than 0. So delta will be greater than 0. Now if delta is greater than 0, we know roots are real. We want the sum of the roots. So don't solve it. Sum of the roots is alpha plus beta, which is minus b by a. That will be minus 3 by 1, which is minus 3, which is option A. Maybe again, looking at the question doesn't look very easy. When you solve it out, it turns out to be pretty straightforward. I would again put it as between a level B or a C for most of the students. People who figured out this A and A plus 2 very quickly would have got it much faster. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is again a question from geometry. Slightly difficult question. Pay attention carefully. ABCD is a trapezium in which AB is parallel to DC and AD is perpendicular to AB. So it's a trapezium of something like this kind, where there is one set of line parallel and the other one is perpendicular. So something like this. In this type of trapezium, it's always great to just draw this line also and keep it. But there was also something about a circle. Okay, they had told us AB is thrice of DC. That means if this whole thing was just X, this full thing was 3X. I'm just trying to understand the question first. If a circle is inscribed in the trapezium touching all the sides, which has a radius 3. So whenever I want to draw a diagram with a circle, I always prefer drawing the circle first. So what I would have done was actually drawn the circle first, radius 3. Okay, this side, as we said, was something like this. This is the next side, third side, and this is the longer side. So AB was larger, ABCD. The radius was 3. So the diameter was 6. Very, very clear because this angle is 90, this angle is 90, this angle is 90, this angle is also 90. This full also will be 6. And these two, this will exactly be the midpoint, because again, if I just draw a perpendicular from here, even this angle is 90. So these two will become 3, 3. This is 3, this is 3. We got till here. Now pay attention. Now use the property which we are mainly using. Suppose I call this point P and Q. How much will be dP? Do you realize dP will also be 3 because even this is a small square only, or tangents drawn from a point outside the circle are equal. So if this is 3, this is also 3. Same way AQ will also be 3, right? If I had dropped a perpendicular from here, which I told you right at the start, and I take this much as X, let's call this point as R. So CR will also be X, right? Now we have a very important property. BQ will also be equal to BR. CP is equal to CR. Similarly, BQ is also equal to BR. Okay. Now, let's first find out BQ in terms of X only. DC is 3 plus X. Therefore, AB is triple of DC. So it will be 9 plus 3X. So AB full is 9 plus 3X. AB. Out of that, this much is 3. So the remaining QB will become 6 plus 3x, right? QB is 6 plus 3x, out of which, since CP is x, let's call this as some other point, say E. CE will also be x, and therefore this much will become 6 plus 2x. That is EB. How much is BR? BR was equal to BQ. BQ we had got 6 plus x, so BR will also be 6 plus 3x. These both are 6 plus 3x, so this is 6 plus 3x. Now, we know CE will also be 6 because again this is a rectangle. PCQE will be a rectangle, so CE will also be 6. So if you look very carefully, we've got one triangle with one variable on all the three sides in terms of number of variable. CEB, use Pythagoras theorem, we'll get 6 square plus 6 plus 2x the whole square is equal to 6 plus 3x plus x, that is 6 plus 4x the whole square. You can solve this out, but I don't think so you should solve. Once you look at one side 6, you should at least think whether the triplex 6, 8, and 10 are fitting. 6 plus 2x, if it was 8, so 2x is 1, and 6 plus 4x also will satisfy to 10, which means 6, 8, 10 is satisfying. So please do not solve this. 6, 8, 10 is satisfying. So we've got the value of x is 1 basically. Now once I got 1, x is 1, I want the area of the trapezium. Area of the trapezium is half into sum of parallel sides. This side is 3 plus x, which will become 4. Into the other side was triple of that, so that will become 12. Into height. Height is 6, same as the diameter. 2 1s are 2 3s are. So that will be 16 3s are 48. Answer is option 3. Pretty difficult question. Please go through it. I would definitely call it a level C question in an exam situation. To think of exactly all these things was not very easy. Go through it a couple of times, practice it a little bit, understand the rules which I have used. Tangents drawn from a point outside the circle are equal. All those things will be important. Let's have a look at the next question. I would say one more difficult question. They've told us P, Q, R are three natural numbers, so their sum is 900. So P plus Q plus R is 900, where R is a perfect square whose values lies between 150 and 500. So R lies between 150 and 500, but R is a perfect square. Which is the first perfect square more than 150? I think 169, then 196. 15 square is 225, and so on up till 28 square being 484. So R can be any one of these values. Okay. P is not less than 0.3Q and not more than 0.7Q. So P lies between 0.7 times Q and 0.3 times Q. So 0.3Q and 0.7Q lies between them, can be equal to also 0.3Q and 0.7Q, right? Then the sum of the maximum and the minimum possible values of P. Now, if I want to make P maximum, do you agree Q and R both have to come out to be minimum? When will Q be minimum? When will Q be minimum in this case? Out of these two, which case will we take? If P is less than 0.7Q, then Q will be P, or if P is equal to 0.7Q, then P divided by 0.7 will be Q. At that time, Q will be minimum, right? P divided by 0.7, because if I take 0.7 over here, that's the largest possible value out of 0.3 and 0.7. So dividing by a larger value. So P will remain as it is. Q will become P upon 0.7. R, I will take the smallest value. I'm going to just try. Let's remove this decimal. So you get it into 10 over here. 7P plus 10P. 17P upon 7 is what? 200. So 731. I just need to check whether this is divisible. 17 4s are 68. 5 17 3s are. So yes, I'm getting a value for P. So P is 7 into 43. That should be 7 into 43 will be 201. Oh, sorry, 301. That will be 280 plus 21, 301. Right? So leave it over here. Now let's take P to be minimum. When will P be minimum? If Q and R are as large as possible. So if I take Q as large, it will be P divided by 0.3, and the largest value of R is 484. Remove the decimal over here, I'll get a 10P. So this will become 3P plus 10P, 13P upon 3 is 900 minus 484. That will be 416. Let's see if 13 goes here. 13 3s are 39 to 26. So 13 to the 26. So P will be 96. So P we got as 96. We have been asked for the sum of the maximum and minimum value. So sum of 301 plus 96, 397. Difficult question. The question was framed in such a way that the minimum and the maximum values over here worked. If they had not worked, the question will be much more difficult, because then we would have to work towards which value is working and so on, which would make the question nearly impossible. But I would say it is definitely a level C question in an exam situation. I would not have touched it. Let's see the last question. In an arithmetic progression, the sum of the 4th, 7th and 10th term is 99. So if you write the 4th term, the 7th term and the 10th term, look at it very frankly. CAT has given you a shortcut here also. These three terms are in AP. The whole series is AP, but within these three terms again are in AP. So, and the average will always be the middle term. So in short, what they're telling you is T7 is 99 divided by 3, 33. You could have wasted a little bit more time over here, made one equation, A plus 3D plus A plus 6D plus A plus 9D is 99. You would have got 3A plus 3 plus 6, 9, 9 plus 9, 18D is equal to 99. Divide by 3, you would have got a plus 6d is 33, which I am getting directly. 7th term is a plus 6d. Whichever way you look at it, this is your equation 1. And the sum of the first and the 14th term. Sum of the first and the 14th, sum of the first 14 terms, not the sum of the first and 14 terms. Sum of the first 14 terms is 497. So S14 is 497. What is S14? 14 upon 2, n upon 2 into bracket 2a plus n minus 1, that is 13d, is 497. 2 ones are 2 sevens are 7 7 ones are. So the second equation is 2a plus 13d is 71. Multiply this equation by 2 to get rid of a. So I'll get 2a plus 12d is 66. Subtract the two equations. So I'll get d is equal to 5. Put d in any one of the equations, you will get a. So if I put it in this equation, 6d is 30, a becomes 3. So a is 3. We want the sum of the first 5 terms. First term, now a lot of people again would have calculated sum of 5 items. Waste of time. First term is 3, second term is 8, third term is 13, fourth term is something, fifth term is something. I don't even want to know why. Middle term is 13. 5 terms, middle term will be the average. So answer will be 13 into 5, 65. That will be your final answer. I thought this was an easy question. Standard AP-GP question. Maybe if it was the last question in your test also, you were also too tired, maybe didn't get it, but otherwise it was a level A question.